The first text came 3 months after we buried her. I remember the exact moment because I was standing barefoot in my kitchen at 2:17 a.m., staring at the microwave clock like it had personally offended me. I hadn't been sleeping much since the accident. The house was too quiet at night, like the walls were holding their breath. My phone buzzed against the counter, a sharp vibration that sliced through the silence. I almost ignored it. Nobody could text you at 2:17 in the morning. But then I glanced at the screen and my lungs forgot how to work. Emily. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. I just stared at her name glowing up at me like it had every day for the last 10 years. The same contact photo, the same yellow heart I'd added after she beat cancer at 16. My thumb hovered over the screen. This isn't possible. We buried her in April. I watched them lower the casket. I held my mother while she screamed. I stood next to the twisted guardrail where her car had flipped 3 times. She was gone. The phone buzzed again. One new message. I tapped it. Maddie, I need you to listen carefully. I don't have much time. My knees buckled. I slid down against the cabinets until I was sitting on the cold tile floor. My back pressed against the dishwasher. The air felt thick, like I was underwater. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might throw up. This was a prank. It had to be. Someone spoofed her number. Some sick joke. Some hacker. My fingers trembled as I typed. Who is this? The typing bubble appeared immediately. My breath hitched. Nobody could fake that. Not like this. Not that fast. Another message came. You know who it is. I shook my head violently, even though I was alone. No, I whispered. No. Another buzz. You left the porch light on the night I snuck out to see Josh. You covered for me. You said I was asleep. The room tilted. I was 14. She was 17. Dad had been furious about Josh with his stupid motorcycle and his stupid leather jacket. Emily had climbed out her bedroom window, and I'd lied straight to our father's face. No one knew that but us. My chest tightened like invisible hands were squeezing it. I typed again. This isn't funny. The response came slower this time. 3 dots. Disappear. 3 dots again. Then, it's not supposed to be. Emily died on a wet Thursday afternoon. The police said she hydroplaned. Said she lost control on Highway 9 when the rain came down too fast, too hard. Said sometimes these things just happen. But I'd always hated the word accident. It felt lazy, convenient. Emily was careful. She was annoyingly careful. She checked blind spots twice. She hated speeding. She once cried because she accidentally ran over a squirrel. The day she died, she'd been driving to meet me. That's the part that never let me sleep. She had texted me at 3:42 p.m. On my way, don't bail this time. We were supposed to talk, really talk, about something she said she'd found out. Something important. I had almost canceled. I'd been tired from work. I'd thought, we'll just do it tomorrow. But I didn't cancel. She left the house at 3:50. At 4:13, the state trooper called my mom. My phone buzzed again in the present. You have to go to my apartment. I stared at the words. We'd cleared out Emily's apartment 2 months ago, packed her life into boxes, donated her clothes, sold her couch. What do you want? I whispered at the screen. The blue vent in the hallway. Behind it, the hallway vent. I tried to picture her apartment, the narrow corridor between the bathroom and her bedroom, a small white vent near the floor. Why would anything be there? "Emily," I typed, my tears blurring the screen. "Stop." 3 dots. "You didn't ask enough questions." My throat closed. "Questions about what?" Before I could respond, another message came. "You need to know the truth about that day." The world seemed to narrow to just me and the glow of that screen. Truth. My stomach twisted. "What truth?" I whispered, but no answer came. The typing bubble didn't return. The phone stayed still in my hand. I didn't go back to sleep. I sat on the kitchen floor until dawn, reading and rereading the messages until they felt carved into my brain. I Googled number spoofing. I looked up grief hallucinations. I even called her number. It rang 4 times. Then voicemail. Her voice filled my ear. "Hey, it's Emily. Leave it." I hung up so fast I nearly dropped the phone. At 7:30 a.m., I drove to her old apartment complex. The place looked the same. Brick buildings with faded white trim, a half-broken fountain in the center courtyard. The management company had already rented out her unit. I'd checked, but I wasn't there for the unit. I walked straight to the side entrance we'd used 100 times. The hallway smelled like lemon cleaner and stale carpet. My footsteps echoed too loudly. The vent was still there, small, rectangular, painted white. I knelt down. My heart was racing so hard it made my ears ring. "This is insane," I muttered, but my fingers were already gripping the edge. It came loose easier than I expected. Behind it was darkness and something else, a small plastic bag. I froze. The world seemed to hum around me. Slowly, carefully, I reached inside and pulled it out. It was heavier than it looked. Inside the bag was a flash drive and a folded piece of paper. My name was written on it in her handwriting, not printed, not typed. Her handwriting. I couldn't breathe. I unfolded the paper with shaking hands. "Maddie, if you're reading this, it means something happened to me." Or I was right. I felt the hallway close in. Right about what? There are things I found out about Dad, about the company. I didn't want to believe it. I still don't. If anything happens, it wasn't random. "Please don't trust." The note ended mid-sentence. It had been ripped or cut. The bottom half was missing. My pulse thundered in my skull. Don't trust who? Dad. The company? What company? Our father had worked for the same manufacturing firm for 25 years. Boring, stable, safe. My phone buzzed again. I nearly screamed. "You found it." I stared at the screen. "How are you doing this?" I whispered. "Plug in the drive." I didn't go home. I drove straight to a coffee shop across town, one Emily and I used to sit in for hours. I chose a corner table, ordered something I didn't taste, and opened my laptop. The flash drive felt warm in my hand, like it had been waiting. I plugged it in. One file, a video, dated 3 days before she died. My hand shook as I clicked play. The screen flickered, and then Emily. She was sitting at her kitchen table, hair pulled into a messy bun, no makeup. She looked tired, scared. "Hey, Maddie," she said into the camera. Her voice hit me like a freight train. I covered my mouth to stop a sob from escaping. If you're watching this, I either chickened out or something went wrong. She swallowed hard. I found some files on Dad's laptop. I know I shouldn't have looked, but he's been acting weird. There are transfers, big ones, offshore accounts, and emails about product testing. She hesitated. They're skipping safety protocols. They know it's dangerous. My chest tightened. Dangerous how? She leaned closer to the camera. I think the accident at the plant last year, the one that killed those 2 workers, it wasn't an accident. The coffee shop noise faded into static in my ears. They covered it up, she continued, and I think Dad knows. I shook my head. No, he wouldn't. He's not the mastermind, she said quickly, like she knew what I was thinking. But he's involved, and if I'm right, they're about to release something worse. She glanced toward her apartment door. I'm meeting someone tomorrow, a reporter. If anything happens to me before that, the video cut out, just black. I stared at my reflection in the dark screen, meeting someone tomorrow. She died the next day. My phone buzzed. Now you understand, I typed furiously. Are you saying she was killed? 3 dots. You already know the answer. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't grief anymore. This was something else. Who are you? I whispered again. The reply came slower. Look at the police report. I went home and dug through the box of paperwork my mom had shoved into the hall closet after the funeral. The official report was thin, too thin. Single vehicle accident, wet conditions, no evidence of mechanical failure, no toxicology concerns. Case closed, but something snagged in my memory. Emily had texted me at 3:42. The accident happened at 4:05, according to the report. 23 minutes. Her apartment was only 12 minutes from the crash site. Where was she for the other 11? My phone buzzed again. Check the traffic cam footage. How would I even get that? I muttered, but then I remembered Josh, the motorcycle boyfriend. He'd become a city traffic engineer after college. Irony at its finest. I hadn't talked to him since the funeral. I texted him before I could talk myself out of it. Hey, I need a favor. It's about Emily. He called within 30 seconds. Maddie? His voice was cautious. Is everything okay? No, I said, and then I started crying. 2 days later, I was sitting in Josh's office, staring at paused footage from a traffic camera near Highway 9. Emily's silver Honda sat at a red light. Timestamp, 3:58 p.m. She wasn't moving. The light was green. Cars behind her began to honk. She stayed still. Josh leaned forward. Why isn't she going? Zoom in, I whispered. He enhanced the image. A black SUV was angled slightly in front of a car, blocking it. My heart pounded. The passenger door of the SUV opened. A man stepped out. Even grainy and pixelated, I recognized the shape of him. Broad shoulders, familiar stance. My vision tunneled. No, I whispered. Josh squinted. You know him? I didn't answer. Because I did. It was my father. I don't remember driving home. I just remember standing in our childhood living room, staring at Dad as he watched the evening news. He looked normal, tired, older than he had 6 months ago. Grief etched into every line of his face. You were there, I said. He turned slowly. What? The day she died, you were there. His eyes flickered. I don't know what you're talking about. I pulled out my phone and shoved the paused footage in his face. The color drained from him. That's not. It is, I snapped. Why were you there? Silence stretched between us like a live wire. Finally, he sat down heavily. She shouldn't have been digging. he said quietly. My heart cracked. So you admit it? He rubbed his face. You don't understand how big this is, Maddie. The company, they can't afford scandal. Billions are at stake. People died, I whispered. His voice hardened. 2 workers signed waivers. They didn't sign up to be lied to. He looked at me then, really looked at me. She was going to ruin everything. The room went still. What did you do? I asked. His silence was answer enough. Tears streamed down my face. You killed her. I didn't mean for it to go that far, he said, voice cracking. I just needed to scare her, to make her back off. My knees went weak. The roads were slick. She panicked. I stared at him like I'd never seen him before. You forced her off the road. I tried to stop her, he insisted, but she swerved. You chased her. He didn't deny it. My phone buzzed again in my hand. I glanced down. Leave now. A chill slid down my spine. Before I could ask why, headlights flared through the front window. Black SUV. My blood turned to ice. Dad's face went wide. They weren't supposed to. The front door burst open. 2 men stepped inside. Suits, cold eyes. One of them smiled faintly. Mr. Carter, he said smoothly, we need to talk. My heart hammered. Dad stood slowly. I handled it. The man's gaze shifted to me. And her? My phone buzzed again. Run! I didn't hesitate. I bolted toward the back door as shouts erupted behind me. I heard a scuffle, a crash, then a gunshot. I didn't look back. I didn't stop running until my lungs burned. I hid in the woods behind our subdivision, crouched behind a fallen tree, shaking so hard my teeth chattered. My phone buzzed one last time. I'm sorry. Tears blurred my vision. Emily, I whispered into the darkness. Are you really? 3 dots appeared, and for a moment I was certain she would answer. But instead, the final message came. This number is no longer in service. The screen went black. No more typing bubble. No more buzz. Just silence. The police ruled my father's death a home invasion gone wrong. 2 unidentified suspects fled the scene. Case under investigation. I never told them about the texts. I never told anyone about the flash drive. I sent the video to the reporter Emily had planned to meet. 3 months later, the company was under federal investigation. Executives resigned. Stocks plummeted. Truth leaked out in pieces. But at night, when the house is quiet and the air feels heavy again, I still check my phone at 2:17 a.m. just in case. Because sometimes, when the wind moves through the trees outside my window, I swear I can hear her voice. Not trapped, not angry, just watching. And every once in a while, the porch light flickers on by itself, like someone's making sure I'm not alone.